video recorded from residents who were caught in the wind-whipped inferno Tuesday, showing how they huddled against the seawall, running to the water for safety. Lahaina resident Denny Euchre recording this video. He says he tried sending to his family as he feared he was not going to survive.
If I don't make it through this, I love everybody.
This video shows what it was like to be inside a neighborhood as it was burning. Now, the man who took this was making a record of which family homes had been destroyed and which ones up to then had survived. We are also seeing new footage of the fire's aftermath released by FEMA as workers carefully search through all the debris. More than 100 people are now confirmed dead. Nearly all of the victims have yet to be identified. This video shows what.
When we got off on the dock, what I immediately noticed before I could see anything was the smell of smoke. We walked through what was a very tropical area, and on the other side of the trees and the grass, we came across entire neighborhoods leveled by fire. We're talking fields of ash. On one side, homes were still standing, but as we continue to make our way deeper into town, the loss came into scale, and it continued to come into scale in the days since. We've gone back nearly every single day. We walked all 2 miles of historic Front Street. And what struck me the most was when we came up on the scene of dozens of cars and what looked like bumper to bumper traffic frozen by fire. They had been fully engulfed. Drivers got into their cars hoping to escape, only for the flames to catch up. We have heard stories from survivors of them getting out of their cars and jumping in the water to save their lives. When we got off on the dock,
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Av Files. If you haven't noticed, we will be talking about what the heck is going on in Maui. Of course, I'm also joined by my co-host, the one and only Daniel of Arius and the Nation.
What's going on? Good to be back, man. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah. Well,
man,
yeah,
what else? It's a heavy subject today, man.
It is a little heavy, yeah. I mean, it's deep, man. It's deep, They asked for it. Conspiracies. Here it is.
Conspiracy. Listen, this, man, I'll tell you what, this thing, if you search it, boy, do you find lots of unanswered questions on this in this case. It's basically insane. But anyway, I'll let you take it away. We have a couple things going.
No, we have a couple things we want to talk. Yeah, because we're just trying to figure out. Again, we're no experts. We say this multiple times, but we're no experts, and we're just trying to figure out, maybe get some kind of answers on what is going on, because there's a lot of rumors and a lot of theories. Should I say conspiracy theories? I don't know. Maybe of what is happening and who or what is involved. How did this start?
So from just a quick perusing of the Maui wild, and actually, you know what? I think to preface this, there isn't a lot of media coverage on this. There really isn't. Like, it's not in my face. Like, I had to search it. It should be the number one thing popping up all the time in my face, and it's not, and that's oddly interesting. Like, it's just like, why isn't it pushed out more? But okay, so from what we've learned, the wildfires, those that are listening, those are air quotes if you're listening on Spotify.
If you're watching on YouTube,
then
hopefully everybody's doing both.
But yes, the wildfire started August 8th. Okay, and as of September 4th, our estimates are not our estimates, the ones that the internet provided, are 10.4 square miles have been scorched, and that is of the town. What is it? Lahaina. Okay, yeah. And that's on Maui. Now, 10.4 square miles may not sound like a lot, but that's 6,600 plus acres of city, of town gone.
Right. Burned
All
up,
right.
ashes,
Burned
total
up.
ashes. Ashes, right? Look
Yeah.
like it literally
Total.
looks like a bomb, a nuclear bomb hit it and just
Yeah.
wiped everything out.
Everything out. And the issue is not, well, I mean, the issue is the massive loss, the freaking it, I don't know where I'm trying to go with this. It's like state of emergency, what is it? Natural disaster, but is it? That's the questions that we got to ask. Is like, is it a natural disaster? It is a volcanic
What
island.
was it? Was it a
What
natural disaster, right?
I,
That's the thing. It's like we're trying to figure out, was it really a natural disaster? Because there was people saying that it was that weapon. What was that weapon they
yeah,
said?
a DEW, direct
DE
energy weapon,
okay.
right?
So people were saying that it was that caused the fire. Because I didn't see anything. They just said a wildfire started. They didn't say exactly. And I
Yeah,
don't know if you. I mean, I guess they can. As a firefighter, somebody can tell. They can tell like how it started, even if it was
yeah,
from like a match, gas, gasoline, something like that that started it. I
yeah.
haven't seen anything that said that. Oh, it started. It was an electrical fire. Somebody threw a cigarette butt out. Nothing.
I feel like no one's addressed that. And now it's not the fact that this unfortunate natural disaster occurred. It's the fact that there's so many unanswered questions around the fire, right? I mean, the death
Mhm.
toll alone is, we'll never know. I feel like we'll live a life and we'll end our life, and we'll our generations to come will never know how many people were truly lost in this wildfire.
Right,
You
because
know,
the body count is.
three 300 supposedly.
Right, because in another article I read, it might have been posted maybe a couple weeks ago, but it said roughly 100 people, and I'm like, this island's on fire, and you're gonna tell me only 100 people died? And
No,
then they're
and
saying there's
remember,
like 800
uh,
or or 300 are missing. And you have to
th-
assume that most of those missing are not alive anymore.
yeah, it's an island. You know what I mean? You either escape to another part of the island or you don't. And it's like the cold hard reality of things is like, I really despise when the media like tries to downplay the severity of things,
Hmm.
just for being, I guess, more digestible, whatever, however you
Is it
watch
that
your
or
news.
right, or is it that, or is it just as I remember I heard a celebrity say like it's not them trying to be right. It's just them trying to put something out first. You don't
Yeah,
have to be right. You just have to be the first one to report it.
which I think that was Denzel, man. I think that was Denzel Washington said that.
Sounds like something Denzel would say.
Yeah, like he was like, you just got to be the first. Doesn't matter if
Right.
you're right. You just got to be the first. I think he was on a red carpet. I think, and some
Yeah.
interviewer got him.
No,
But
you're
yeah,
right.
no, that was
Hmm.
awesome.
But
That
I
was a
mean that's and this would be I would feel this was where
I
it'd be the perfect time to say it because it's not about they're not reporting. You're right. There's not really reporting on what happened. It's just kind of they're there, and I just keep seeing all these videos of
yeah.
what's going on, and the mayor is getting all kinds of crap from the people on the island.
There's not enough people talking about like what's going on. Like okay, you have these individuals coming out with their individual stories, and it's vastly different than what's
Hmm.
being portrayed on the news.
Right.
The news has it handled, but in reality, boots on the ground, these real people are like, it's not like that. People are, and these are, I'm gonna say this: living on an island in Hawaii, right? You have to be well off or self sufficient, okay? Because the import taxes on just food in general is insanely high.
Hmm.
Okay, so you're either well off, self sufficient. So when these individuals' houses burned down, they literally lost everything.
Hmm.
Everything. And what I'm finding odd is that, like I think you mentioned, like there's a lot of people that need to have the answers to a simple wildfire that don't.
Right. They, you know, they ask, they're asking like the mayor, they're asking the fire chiefs, they're asking the police chiefs, hey, what's going on? What's this? How come we can't get into our homes? And it's pretty much cut and dry. Give us a yes or no answer. And
Yep.
they can't even do that.
They can't even do that. And that's my biggest issue is that, like, dude, these guys have to go back to their, you know, I think we were talking about this before we jumped on. It's like you have to put your foot into let's say like the government role and
Hmm.
understand like you can't just let people back into a fire area or a burned out area, because then you're risking liability claims, a bunch of different things. Like there's a lot of liability to letting people back into their area, right? As a let's say, as the local government would go, you could get sued. Like, why'd you let us back if we're just going to fall through the foundation of our house and whatever? I feel like there's a lot of liability involved in that decision. But
Right.
my thing is, the military is there to prevent. I'm pretty sure it's a National Guard contingent, but it's still like a
Yeah.
military presence is there with a heavy police force, preventing people from getting back home to not only collect surviving valuables, but also to identify those of the family members that are deceased. That's the problem,
Right.
you
Yeah,
know?
there's videos of them like wanting to go down there and they're blocking the road. And like, well, why can't we get down to the road? Well, I want to get to my home. This is our property. This is my home. And I know a lot of things work differently there. Um,
Hmm.
they have a different the way they treat each other and the land, because from what I can tell, they respect their land more because that's the land they live off of.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
they they are, hey, this is our land, this is my land, I built this, whatever, whatever. And the cops are like, no, can't let you go down
Nope.
there. And they're like,
And
why?
now, just trying to touch back on the thing you mentioned first, is like the direct energy weapon. Like that is a
Hmm.
conspiracy that you'll hit first. Listen, this
Right.
shouldn't even be on this channel, but the fact that there's so many freaking questions makes it be on this channel.
Yeah, it has to be on this channel because I mean, it's a natural, again, is it a natural disaster? But it's a natural disaster that occurred, and there's just so many questions about if it
Yeah.
actually is. You got this
Yeah.
weapon, I mean, I showed you that video of that guy, remember the weatherman?
Yeah.
That
Right?
was weird.
That
Yeah,
was crazy.
that
It's
was weird.
it's now the first thing that you'll see, like when you pull up this search, is kind of like a DEW, which is a direct energy weapon. And the photos that have been circulating around that, I would say, conspiracy, that that I guess the photos that have emerged because of that, right, are all fake. They're all different parts of the world. In those, I think there's three photos that's
Hmm.
like that can you can noticeably see some ray of light or something go down in the middle of a fire. Right? Those are not there. Those are not Maui.
Now
But
again, before you go any further, we're not here to try to, you know,
no,
put more conspiracies out there. We're not
no,
trying to do that. We're
yeah,
talking about the ones that other people might be talking about. Um, you know, because we're definitely
it's
not saying like, oh my gosh, this is what it is.
no,
Uh,
it's not that. So it's like it's kind of like you see these images that I'm just trying to let our people know that when you type this Maui fire conspiracy in, you'll hit that first. You'll hit
Right.
the direct energy weapon, that because that's what I hit. Like
Hmm.
I said, we don't get that up here. We don't get the in your face Maui fire coverage up here at all for some insane reason. I had to look at it. Like I had to look it up and stuff. And it's like DEW's direct energy weapon. Those images are debunked, but at the same time, they're debunked as in they released a statement saying that no, it is not a direct energy weapon, which leads me to assume that we have direct energy weapons and they look and
Have
feel
they
the
used them
same.
before? Right.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying, right? By
Yeah.
them saying that no, this is not a
They're like,
direct energy
yeah,
weapon.
right. It's not even just that they're saying that it's not. They're like, no, we know from them
Yeah,
saying that. It's like them saying like,
yeah.
no, we know what a direct energy weapon is, and this isn't
And
it.
and we're like, okay, well,
Uh,
like
It's like
it's kind of like,
rewind.
like wait a minute, well, okay, let's table
Yeah.
that. Shit's on fire. Let's deal with that. But now I know that they know what an energy weapon does, right?
Right. Because they've
As
tested it
ridiculous,
somewhere.
yeah, maybe California. Coming up next,
It could
no,
be. Right. Yeah.
I just I feel like there's a lot of accountability that the ball has been dropped in every court along this whole how we've handled things. And I like I heard about this guy that has his own like not necessarily official nonprofit, but he rallied like around 16 pallets of food and emergency supplies, and he wanted to send it to Maui for like relief. But
Hmm.
since he wasn't a part of an official NGO and or I would say like official company that does aid on like the
Hmm.
books, he couldn't send his pallets of supplies to Maui. And that is weird to me. When you
Uh,
have
I
when you
mean,
have
last I
mm,
heard, Hawaii is still part of the United States,
yeah,
correct?
yeah,
Okay, so why can't we? Why can't
that's
us as Americans help other Americans out? We're not trying to send it to some other country
yeah.
to help them out, which is not a bad thing
Oh my
either.
god.
But I mean, it's like we're
Yeah.
trying to help our own, you know, brothers and sisters out
I
that
just
are in need.
yeah. And it's just like when you think about how much the government spends on like military, foreign aid, stuff like that, right? And you're like, now this is not the time for those things. We got to help our people, our countrymen
Yeah, I
in
mean,
their
yeah,
time of need,
right.
but it's not happening. And then on this rabbit hole of finding things out, you start hearing names like Oprah Winfrey, which what? Like why is she directly associated with this Maui wildfire?
Right. She's been directly in a lot of stuff recently.
With Maui. Like,
Right.
it's like,
Yeah.
what? What's
It's not
going on?
good. All right. It's
Why
not
is her
good.
name trending? Like, when's the last time, like, for real, after her network and after her talk show went out? I don't even know if she has her own network anymore. The OWN, OWN. I don't even know if that's a thing.
Was that hers?
Yeah. Oprah
I
Winfrey
didn't,
Network,
I
OWN.
didn't know.
Oh, yeah. Well,
No.
that's why she's like a billionaire. Anyway,
Right. I mean,
um,
yeah, I get that. She should be giving out cars.
yeah,
You know?
she should be. You get some land, you get a house, you get
Yeah.
some relief.
That's what she should be doing, not involved in all this mess.
Like I feel like so currently, right now, she has 1,000 acres of land in Maui or on Maui. Okay. Now, the wildfire, quote unquote, air quotes, has burnt 6,000 acres of land. Now, I don't know. She did not start out with 1,000 acres of land. She has been purchasing acreage for who knows what, but it's not to grow or to help the community at all.
It's just
It's
for her to
it's for
grow
her.
her house bigger, more land.
Yeah.
So, okay, and now once you say it like that, my my thinking would be as these houses and as all these communities have burnt down and nothing's left, people vultures are going in trying to buy this land from people. I'm not saying that she's doing it, but I would look and say, okay, so is she going to go in and all of a sudden buy up all this land and now it's her land, but then rented out to the people at a higher cost, and
Yeah.
uh,
I feel like, okay, let's say if we treat this as a wildfire, it's because you have to approach it differently, right? If you treat this thing as a wildfire, then the wildfire is acting very peculiar, not burning down the houses of the wealthy that live near the wildfire.
of the wealthy or of the elite.
The elite, let's just put
Okay.
it there, because I feel like you kind of have to be sort of semi-wealthy or
So
be
this,
very proficient living off the land if you
so
live in
is
Hawaii.
is it at a certain you make so much money, there's automatically a barrier
Well,
around your house?
at a certain tax bracket, the
Yeah.
wildfire stops.
It's like, all right, wildfires don't affect you anymore. They kind of just
Yeah,
go
yeah,
around you.
yep. And that's the problem. Like if you're treating this as a wildfire, it makes no sense. Okay, it makes no sense why it would destroy a whole area and leave the houses and properties of the elite unscathed. But if you treat this as something else other than a wildfire, then it starts making sense. Then, if you treat it as, let's say, a massive case of arson or whatever, or
Hmm.
property grabbing, then it starts making more sense that way than is as if you treat it as a wildfire,
And that to me,
right?
that's what it seems like. It's whether they use a weapon or not. Somehow, the land caught on fire. It's arson automatically,
Yeah,
right? Or
it's
some form of arson, and then they're
it's a
going around. It's
controlled
property theft.
burn. It's a
It's a
controlled
controlled burn.
burn.
Yeah.
And I mean, everyone, I no, will just kind of sort of dipping my toe into the waters of this whole situation that's emerged. Like, there's articles out there that know that Oprah and her establishment have been interested in buying land from landowners in Maui,
For years.
and for years before
Okay.
this.
So way before this, I just want to make sure we get this clear for all the listeners. So before this, it has been known that Oprah has been trying to buy the land on Maui,
Hmm.
on the island of Maui, mainly Lahaina or in that area, I guess.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. And my thing is that, like, it's very convenient that the land and beachfront property that's very, very, I would say, profitable to have, has just gone up in smoke with no questions asked, with minimal questionable casualty numbers. Like, like, there's a lot of cover-ups going on, if there are. If you treat this as arson, a lot of things make sense, but there must be a guilty party. And in a case of arson, what is there to gain? And in the elites standing, there's a lot to gain with
Somebody has
beachfront.
to gain
Yeah,
something out of
yeah,
this.
yeah,
Some, I mean, there's always, yeah, somebody just has to gain something out of this.
yep.
So,
And
there's a
and
cause.
yeah, and then you have to ask yourself, who's to gain in this if it was treated like arson? And I don't think I don't even think arson was the right word. I would say it's I guess, I mean, maybe, because arson, I feel, is just burn shit down, but not for gain. It's just to burn it down out of spite. You
Well,
know,
I mean, okay, people burn down their houses for insurance, and
insurance. True.
mobs would do that
True.
for insurance fraud and stuff like
Very
that.
true.
So
Yep.
it's gain. But
Gain.
I feel like arson. When I think of arson, I think of somebody throwing lighter fluid into the living room and setting it on
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah. Yeah. But I guess this is like a more massive scale
Yeah.
arson.
It's like
Where
a Tony Stark satellite that just shoots down and like
yeah,
ignites the whole island. It's like, and-
arson. Like, but no, that's different. That's more of
yeah,
an
the Stark
attack.
Industry, Stark
Yeah.
Industries. Yeah,
Like, what the fuck? But okay, so if it is, let's say, if it is a case of arson or collusion or whatever have you, then
definitely collusion.
there's definitely has to be a guilty party, and there has to everyone knows who the victims are, obviously. And my thing is now that and hear me out, aid has pretty much been stopped to the residents of Maui. If it isn't for like these NGOs that are doing these match donations into I guess into its displaced residents, if you could call them that. That's a very nice way of saying the new homeless.
Right,
Um
right.
and that link, by the way, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, it is scrolling on the bottom of the video. That is a organization that will match donations, which is huge. Not like the Oprah one, which is
Which is another controversy that's really been popping off, and
God.
people have been really pissed off about that. People are really, really upset about that, and they caught a lot of shit for that, a lot.
How are you going to
So,
pledge a donation with other people's money? Like, I give you, what is it? How did it go? Because you sent
uh,
me the clip, and I'm like,
yeah, I sent it to you, and I wanted you to
I was like,
see it. And it's
it's like, I'll give you $10 million, but only after we
after
raise it from the
from
common
your money,
people.
right? So send us money so that we can send it to them. You know, it's
And,
my name, and
and,
then
and
it's like, and then at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, so we pledge you this money. If we did give you this money, we give you this money, then you give it to them. So then now it makes it look like you're giving them $10 million, which kind
yeah,
of puts you in make you look good.
yeah.
I
It's
think
like,
that's kind of
what?
shitty.
It is shitty, and that's why I did a little bit of research, guys. And I'm not advocating for this website scrolling across. I just like, do your due diligence always in giving
But
anywhere,
but
guys. But this
this
is,
website is the one you give, they give what you're giving,
yep,
plus they
they
give the same amount. They
yep,
match in
they
everything that you
match.
give.
They match.
Okay.
And then I'm like, I trust that a little more. If they
Right.
match what you give, fair enough. I'm for it. That means it's like equal skin in the game.
Right.
There was another couple things that are very peculiar about this wildfire. Um, Boats caught on fire as well in the wildfire, which is weird. It doesn't usually happen because water and fire historically,
Water beats fire.
water beats fire all the time, but not in Maui's case. Um, there's a couple more things.
They must have used some special move.
Yeah, right. I just feel like there's, to everyone who's listening, everyone who watches this, enlighten yourself on what's going on, because there's a lot more questions and facts coming out about this
Right.
thing.
Don't just look at one thing. Don't
I
like
know.
automatically pick something and say, "Hey, this is true." Like look at a lot of the stuff, because that's what we do here is we ask questions, but we try to look at the big picture of everything that's
Yep.
going on, you
Yep.
know?
Yep. You got to look at every side. Like you got to look at this. At least when I approach this, all right, is it a wildfire or is it arson? Things line up more if it goes to like collusion, conspiracy. Things start lining up more, and it makes more sense if it is that
Mhm.
than just a rampant wildfire that burns in a perfect circle that
Right.
misses millionaires' homes,
Right.
billionaires'
Right.
homes.
Billionaires
Like,
homes.
I can't get on that side of things, but I can get on the arson side of things. So it's like, and the fact that they're like restricting help, or the help that the government gave is like just what they gave everyone $700.
$700. So with 700
What?
on an island that you have to ship everything to, everything costs a little more. You're giving these families, not per person, but families. You're giving a whole household. Let's just say husband, wife, 2 kids, 4 people. You're giving them $700 to do what? To
Yeah,
to fix your home
that's
and get your life back together?
no,
That's
no,
nothing.
that's
That is
nothing.
absolutely
That's not
nothing.
even, that doesn't even cover maybe a quarter of one person's bills in that household.
Yeah, no. So
You
it's like
know?
that's terrible.
Yeah, that
That's why we have to find these places where we can donate. Donate $5,
yeah,
donate a
something.
dollar,
Something.
anything.
There I feel like it's just so it's just so terrible. Like, these guys lost their livelihoods. These guys will never, never, ever be the same. These families that have been displaced will be displaced for the rest of their lives. There's no
and
coming
they
back from
and
this.
and they totally lose trust in their
The
in their government and their police officers and their firefighters and everybody that's down there. Um, I don't know if
every
some of this stuff is true because again, a lot of these things are coming out. People are saying, what was that one? I think I did send you the one too about the guys working on the power lines. They were like cutting the power, like the fires all around them, and they're like down there, and they're like, "Hey, you got to get out of here." And they're like, "No, we're not going to leave." And they were there purposely, like well, from what the
yeah,
person said, they were there purposely, like they knew what was going on and how to what they were doing, somehow
yeah.
cutting the power lines or stuff like
There's
that.
there's a lot more questions in this than answers, man, and that's the disturbing part. Like, no one, trust me, the for real, the California wildfires are not going to be on this channel. Like, it's just been
No,
a thing
no,
since the beginning of time.
no, and
That
it
that
happens.
yeah,
It
that shit
that is a
happens.
natural disaster. Lightning strikes. Somebody again leaves a campfire burning, doesn't put
Yep,
it out fully.
yep,
It's something that happens. It's going to happen, no matter how much you want to not let it to
yep,
happen. It's going to happen anyway, you know.
yep.
So, but something to this extent, yeah. Again, and we'll never cover that unless they dig up a Bigfoot body, you
Yeah,
know.
right.
You
I
know, then we'll cover it. But
there's
in
yeah,
this, it's like something that they're
there's
just
too many
not. It's like
things.
they don't want to tell people what's going on, which I never
And
understood. You know, I don't understand. Like, I understand you don't want to give names of the people that
yeah,
have passed
yep,
away in a time like this. I get that. You want to let the families know, let them grieve privately. I understand that.
yep,
We understand it, but to not give give answers to the people they're asking for what is going on, why can't we go to our homes, what is the how many people are actually missing, and this is, oh man, there's another one, the children there. Apparently there's a lot of children that are now missing,
mm,
you know.
mm, 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 mm,
And
mm.
you would think missing, yes, means they are probably not alive anymore.
Yep.
But and nowadays, when a child goes missing, a lot of children are missing. There's something else.
Yeah, there's something else, and hear me out. There's I refer people that are listening to the movie The Sound of Freedom. We're not
Yes.
advocating for that movie. We're not choosing sides, but I'm just saying that's a good real taste slap in the punch in the throat of
Well, I'll tell you
reality.
what, I'm choosing a side.
Yeah, yeah. No, me too. Me too. Me too. Like, but I'm
But
just saying,
and that
like, it's
movie, I went to go see
oh,
that movie. That movie was good. That was good.
like
It was tough. It was a tough watch.
that's another podcast, dude.
Yeah.
We got to talk about that because that's wild too. But uh my thing is, yeah, it's weird. Like, in these war torn or naturally devastated areas, there's a lot of kids that go missing, and because there's a lot of trap. Wait, no, I can't say that word. What
Wait,
is
you
it?
can't
No, you
you
can't say
can't
that. You can't say that. It not on YouTube.
what?
Um, child relocation, unwanted child relocations,
Okay.
right?
All right.
Um, that's a safe way. Everyone that's listening knows exactly what we're saying. All right. I'll put it that way. Everyone that's watching knows exactly what I'm saying. All right. So it's just funny how, like, these areas are like prime spots for that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So, like, that's just a different layer of the onion. That is the Maui wildfire, right?
Right, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, one, their count of their dead doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Their estimated 324 lives lost in this wildfire. Uh, but there's a lot more kids missing. There's a lot more there's a lot of things that just doesn't feel right. And I feel
Mhm.
like, as a populace, like, we are kind of calling them on their bullshit nowadays. There's more there's more stuff that comes up now than before.
Mhm.
You know, the back in the day, the big conspiracy was, do aliens exist? Did you see Bigfoot? Now it's like, okay, aliens exist.
Aliens do exist.
Okay, great. Now next is Bigfoot, and it's just like there's a lot of different things that are happening that doesn't add up. And this is, for me, this is the tipping point, you know. And our government should be helping these these poor freaking people out more than it has, and it should be blasted more than it has. And the
Mhm.
fact that it isn't covered as much as it needs to be covered
Should be
means
covered, right?
something is going on, means that they're afraid of people making connections. That's what I see.
But that's always the case when something like bad like that happens. If yeah, people talk, people are going to talk, people are talking. So yeah, it kind of puts um those people in the wrong on blast, and
Yeah.
they
I
got a lot to lose.
Yeah, they do. They do. They're if it's deemed as a natural disaster and or preventable accident or something like that, or mishandling of emergency services, which I'm pretty sure they're going to go for that because it's super easy. The day
Mhm.
that it started, August 8th, was a insanely windy day, right? Where helicopters and stuff couldn't even fly in to put the fire out. That's what my
I
little
mean,
bit of research told me.
right, yeah, and I mean, I've heard of wildfires having effect like that on helicopters trying to stop the fire. They weren't able to put it out. It
Yep.
happens. That
Yep.
seems
Yep.
like natural. That's Mother
Yep.
Nature doing her thing.
But for me, I'm like, okay, if it is a wildfire, it should have taken everything out. Wind is not forgiving. Wind and I know that flames can spread pretty freaking fast, pretty freaking quick, especially leading up to that moment. It was like arid, dry, high winds. It's like a recipe for disaster.
Well, they said that there was a hurricane at the time, like I guess in the ocean or something like that. That was
Yeah.
pushing it along. So, which yeah, again, I don't understand how hurricane winds fuel the fire. Okay, I don't want to sound stupid. Understand how the wind
Yeah.
fuels the fire. Okay, but what I don't understand is again how the winds are fueling the fire and they just go like around the house.
And yeah,
Like
and
they
or in a circle or not touch some houses. And
right.
that is where I'm like, no, fire is unmerciful. Like, I'm sorry. Like it the whole everyone should have been out of
Yeah.
been
Every
misplaced.
every house, if one house burned down, they all should have burned down.
Yeah,
You
pretty
know?
much. But that's not the case. And it burns in a circle. And I'm just like, that's peculiar.
And I've seen
Peculiar.
fires that are starting on like on one side of the road, and then they jump over and they go into the other side of the road, which is pretty wild,
It is
you know?
weird. That is
Yeah,
weird.
because you're
You
like,
would
oh,
think that, like, yeah, you would think the road is like a fire break. You're like, they can't
yeah,
touch
like
us.
no, they go right over the road, and next thing the fire's burning on, and it happens really fast.
Yep.
There's times that it happens like super fast, and these people, yeah, it's the will to live. It's the will to survive. These people driving their cars through these tunnels of fire is incredible, man. Really
I mean,
is.
it's crazy. It's just like putting yourself in the image or in the front seat of the car that you have to bail out just to jump in the ocean to live. Like that's I mean, it's freaking wild, man. What
So
these guys have gone through.
yeah, so on a question that I did have was, I wonder, I do wonder how many people did die being in the ocean, if any animal sharks, kind of got some. I know they didn't. I'm assuming they didn't swim out very far, but I know
No.
people were in the ocean um, to stay away from the fire. So I'm wondering if anybody drowned or if anybody,
And
got eaten
like
by a shark or
and
something like that.
that's what I'm saying, man. It's like we'll never know those numbers. We'll never know those numbers because I feel like the death count of this little area is so low. Like it doesn't make sense to me. Let me just do a quick little um research on the Google while you carry on. I'm gonna try to figure this out. Hold on one sec. I'm looking up the population. 13,216, and that is as of 2020. Okay, so by all respects, it should have increased just by sheer numbers, right?
Right.
And just saying that 300 people have died in a mass like what happened to all the elder people and the elderly care and all those stuff that couldn't fend for themselves? What happened to all, like, did they get pre-moved? Are you saying that in a population of 13, was it 13,000 people, there's only 300 elderly? Because no, there's more than that
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
couldn't fend for themselves. If this wildfire moved that fast as they claim, there should be a ton more, because there's people that are bedridden, there's people that are, let's say, sickly, there's people that can't get out of their homes, there's people that are in nursing homes and hospices that can't move. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that the death toll is only 320 something.
What about all those people that were in their car in traffic? You
Yep.
know, can I say traffic? Cars in traffic.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, the cars that
Vehicular
were
trafficking.
the people that were in their vehicles stuck one side by side with each other. What happened? I mean, did they count? Did they find out how many people were? I mean, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw
I
the video where there's a line of cars, and I mean, everyone trying to get out, and I'm pretty sure not everybody was able to survive that.
Yeah, it's something that is just, I think we're just finding things out. They have a couple sections of the wildfire under control,
Mm-hmm.
apparently, you know, um but we're years away from knowing what really happened, or what what they're going to say about it. It's
Mm-hmm.
not going to come out quick, you know and the fact that these wackadoos coming out saying these blanket statements of I don't know, it's unfortunate. Like, it's not enough. There needs to be investigations, there needs to be full on, like, people going to jail, because if it is an energy company, that's it. The I feel like the city of Lahaina is suing the energy company, the electric company, for um some sort of, they claim it's a down wire. So the city of Lahaina is
Right.
going
Yeah.
after them in a lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
But that's too convenient. That's not how it
Is
got
that
out of
smoke and
control.
mirrors?
I think it is. I think that whatever they're suing the electric company for, the government has
Mm-hmm.
already given them a stipend for. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, we're going to give you this energy stipend. It's going to probably cost this much, and then this county is going to sue you for that much. It's going to be a wash kind of thing, because that would
So
be
they,
interesting.
if that something like that ever came out, man, that will talk about a shitstorm.
Oh yeah, yeah. The fact that these 13,000 people are just like, for real, like, displaced. They don't have a home. They don't have a town anymore. The shit's gone. How do you start? How do you pick up and go from zero after your whole life is the island that you devoted your raising your kids, having a family on? You don't just get up and go. Like, you're stuck. You're stuck on a fucking island. Your car's probably destroyed. Your means of communication down.
Everything. I mean,
Everything.
could you? All right. Could you? It's you're you're on again. You're on an island. Everything burned up. You have no way to communicate with anybody. You know. Um.
Yeah.
I, yeah. You got
It
to start from
it,
zero.
at least
You're
it
in the
would be
negative.
nice. It would be nice if Oprah gave tents and let them camp on her land, right? But no, that's not happening. That's not going to happen anytime soon.
No.
So
No.
that's the thing. like on this channel, at least we're spotlighting this. We know
Yeah.
a lot of our listeners come from across the pond,
Might have heard some of it. I probably weren't too
but
sure of what's going on, but
there's a lot more. It's a very juicy story once you start diving down the nitty gritty of it all.
well, it's like what you said. It's an onion. You got to peel back the
Yep.
layers. You know, Shrek.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Always. Rest in peace, Smash Mouth guy. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like the more you dive, the more things make less sense, and that's not how it usually goes in
Right.
life. You know, it should only be one layer of an onion you peel back. I'm like, oh, fair enough.
Oh.
Wildfire, lit cigarette, high winds, arid temperatures, drought.
Right. Yeah. I think
That's where it ends.
It's a recipe for a big wildfire.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, when you do all this other stuff, it's like, no, it's something else.
It's something else.
Unfortunately, it's something else. You know.
Because it doesn't make sense if it was natural. It just doesn't. The leaps and bounds you would have to make to get to like, oh no, it is just a wildfire is more. It's harder to get to leaping that way than it is if you're like, what if it is collusion, arson, something like that? Then everything falls into place.
Right.
Then you go from there.
Yeah.
It's more of a, you have to prove to me that it was a wildfire, was an act of God kind of thing, was a freak thing of nature to happen. Then you have to work harder to prove that is the case, rather than I understand that it is a conspiracy cover up, whatever it is, in some sort of level. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
True.
man,
True.
yeah,
It's a lot. I mean, and maybe to some people we sound like we're rambling on or even going in circles. But the thing, I mean, there's questions that nobody wants to answer, or
no,
that they're not giving answers to, that we trying to get answers for.
yep, pretty much, man.
You know, I mean, these people. I mean, they're living it, man. These people are living in it.
Oh yeah, oh for sure. And I feel so bad for these guys that are, and everyone who has been affected by this freaking incident is. Oh man, they're not getting enough help. They're not getting enough representation.
We are like these people are native to the island, and they really have respect for the island and everything else, and they're not getting the respect back from the government, from police chief, the mayor, who live there too.
Yeah,
Which doesn't make any sense.
I don't. That's to me. It's like, okay. I feel like you gotta follow who's to gain. What is to gain? Who is making money? Who is potentially making money on their misfortune?
Okay, so again, my point of view, only my point of view,
Mhm.
when you say it like that, is who's to gain? Well, the elite are the ones
Yeah.
to gain from it, because the people that aren't, that everything happened to, where they give them $700 and they're like, well, we need more. Like, well, okay, I can give you this, but you're gonna have to give me this land. You can rent it from me, and I'll help you rebuild, or some crazy crap like that. And
I can guarantee you this. I can guarantee you this. Lahaina will never look the same. It is going to be filled with resorts, 5-star resorts, or massive, massive millionaire complexes. Like, it is never going to be the township that it was, ever. It's never going to be blocks and neighborhoods. It's going to be a street, prime view real
corporate.
estate, corporate. I don't know. Hawaii doesn't do corporate on the beaches. They do shit. I'm just saying, like
No, but like now, that's what I'm
Hilton,
saying
stuff
now.
like that. Like Hilton, all those
I mean,
guys will move in.
if you're talking about, it's never going to look the same. It's not going to be the same as it was, like you said.
No.
The rich, the very rich, are going to go in and
They're
start
moving
putting
in.
their stuff, and the people who live there are going to have to pay for it. And what got me too, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off there, but the thing that got me too is, these people are there. I mean, man, it's just too much, man. I got too much going in my head right now.
No, it's there's so many, and that's the thing. If it was just purely a
lost
wildfire,
it.
we wouldn't be. No, if it was just purely a wildfire, we wouldn't be like this. It'd be tough. Here's a link to donate, support. Not really any questions about it, but it's not. It's not cut and dry.
No,
I'll be damned if
this would be a different
the
podcast.
yeah, right. It'd be more of a news outlet.
Yeah, yeah,
But my thing is like Lahaina will never ever go back to looking the same. Ever. It's gonna look mad different. And it'd be interesting to see how many celebrities have their names behind some of these big changes that live there. How many celebrities have money or funds putting into or investing into these building companies, building their new Lahaina or whatever they're going to call it now? It's going to be a whole different resort island. And
You think Trump would actually stick his foot in there? I mean,
possibly,
it's still it's an island. It's Hawaii. People. Oh, that's what I meant to say. It was um, before my mind went blank. Uh, the we said it in the last video. How tourists are still going over there.
yeah,
Like this thing is burning down, and tourists are still going over there. And like, oh look, there's a fire over there. Let's take this boat, or let's take selfies on the on this part of the island. It's still beautiful, and blah blah blah. The resort now. Wait, so did the resorts not burn down?
that's
Is
what I'm
that
saying.
at another one?
It's just weird, right? All this stuff doesn't seem normal. And I feel like we're in an age now, if we go against what's like, okay, this seems weird, then we're called out on whatever we're thinking. And I'm like,
Right,
that's some bullshit. Like, no, anyone can make this assumption. Like, it doesn't seem right. It
right.
doesn't seem right. We can at least say that, and we're not
Yeah,
picking sides. We're just saying, like, dudes, ask fucking questions.
right. So
You know,
yeah, again, the these tourists, they're still going in there, and I mean, they're nobody's what was it? A video of somebody was saying that somebody that lives on the island, native to the
mhm.
island, was saying that how all these tourists are going over there and they just don't care. They don't care about the people that are don't have anything now, you know. And
Yeah,
tourism was a big part of the island,
yeah.
but like now, where's all this money going to? All this tourism money that's coming in, where's all the money going to?
That's that's the questions in these kind of situations. Follow the money, you know. But
Be
I,
careful
I
when you follow the money.
yeah, yeah, you'll disappear. You'll disappear if you follow the money. My thing is that as long as we're doing our part of polarizing a thing that's happening that we feel like is doesn't make sense, that's kind of like our job here as just humans in general. And we
Hmm.
have this platform like, hey, let people across the pond or whoever's not really in the mix know, if you approach this as I did actually very recently. I didn't know. Like, did I know? I just knew Hawaii had a fire. It wasn't until recently I kind of dove into it. I'm like, this is weird. This doesn't feel right. Um, we're letting people know that, like, I lost myself as well. There's so many questions.
Yeah, because
And
there's so much going on that you want to get out and you just can't. But it's like, yeah, I know. Yeah,
it's like you
your
have
brain takes
people
a
like
shit.
Oprah Winfrey in the mix, and you have people like the local government, the U.S. government, backed by billions of dollars, and then you have displaced citizens that can't even eat, that were given $700 as a big fu, that have lost everything, can't get their shit back. Where do you go? How do
And
you?
you know what? It's another thing touch on real quick too is I feel like the elite get the money from the island from all the stuff, and who gives them? The government. So then the government and the mayor probably could get a kickback from I'll back you guys up. This is what you want to do. I mean, yeah, it sounds like a conspiracy because it's probably what it could be.
Yeah.
You know,
If it looks like a duck and sounds like a duck, it's definitely not a goddamn bull.
it's
You
a
know what I mean?
platypus.
Yeah, or a platypus. It's a fucking duck, guys. So, it's just interesting to me how all this stuff is transpiring. Like, there's more questions than answers. That's how it's been handled. And the people that are supposed to have answers don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're getting called out just as much, as we're
Wait,
calling them out.
they just sound like they're just
It's like another day.
trying to tell us what, well, not us, but trying to tell the people there what they want to hear.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's a
just
dangerous thing to do.
no. Well, nowadays, I mean, 20, 30 years ago, you do that and people are like, okay, yeah, we trust the government. They're not going to do anything. Now it's like, wait a minute. I mean, now we can ask questions because what are you going to do? You can't kill everybody.
That's the one thing that I'm very thankful for, like social media. Like when you have on the ground, like boots on the ground reporting from individuals just with their own footage, and it doesn't add up to what is being pushed your way. You're
Right.
like,
No, social media, I agree. I dislike social media, but I do like it because a lot of people, everyone's got a phone, everyone has a camera, everyone can upload to TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff really quick. So something that happens in Hawaii, we can see it here on the East Coast
Yep.
in a
Instantly.
matter of minutes.
Yep.
So when that
And
happens, it's like it's a good thing. But
it
then
is.
a lot of bullshit does get through, and you
Yeah.
again have to pick through it and make a judgment call for yourself and see what you believe in and what you actually think is the truth and what actually could be the truth.
You have to, in these situations, like for everyone listening or watching, like you have to look at all the sides. You have to look at both sides of the coin. Everything is a coin in my world. That's how I view things. Like you have one side or one belief on this, but there's another one that contradicts that. You have to look at both and then formulate your own conclusion and
Yep.
see what it sounds like to you. Because for me, like, okay, if it is this, then these will be the end results of each coin.
Right.
And which, after you get to that, which do you more believe? And that's kind of where your idea is, where your belief is.
I mean, again, me and you we're the same. We're just about the
Yeah.
same because I do the same thing. It's like don't look at it one way. You got to look at it both sides. And it's just two sides to every story.
Yep, 100%, man. And
You
so,
know?
yeah, it's good that we're doing this kind of video, and I really urge you guys to look, the ones that are listening or watching on YouTube,
Hopefully both.
Hopefully both, to look into the matter yourself and let us know in the comments, what do you guys think?
What do you think? What do you guys think? I mean,
This is definitely the winning vote on the poll is conspiracies, guys.
we gave it to him.
We gave it to that person that voted. So cheers to you, man or girl. Person, human. Cheers to you, human.
Yeah. This one was a little more serious, don't you think?
It was. This is not really within the vein of what we've done so far.
No.
Is it like legit like conspiracy?
Yeah. We talked about it
because we've done our murder mysteries, we've done our cryptids. We've done all that. This is our first conspiracy, possibly
paranormal.
Yeah, we've done paranormal. But yeah. Anyway, let us know what you think in the comments, guys. Because
and please again remember the link down there. Check it out. If you don't like it, don't have to give to it. Find one that you do like. Help out, man. Help out our brothers and sisters because they're still part of the United States.
I feel like we looked at we just glanced at a charity that was at least matching. Because at least if it matches, then they have money in the game. They're not just using your money to fund their name, pretty much. So, do your due diligence, guys, and we'll continue to do ours. But yeah, guys, just stay in the loop. I really like this one. I think that, like, underneath your name, man, that's pretty much the ethos of the channel is more
I think
questions
so.
than answers.
More questions than
especially-
answers.
Especially in this case, man.
Yeah, more questions than answers. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, man.
All right. So, all right. On that note, remember, everybody, please do your thing. Like, share, comment, because we will get back to you.
Yep.
If you comment, pass the word around, tell everybody, join the Ad Files, join us on our journey, and we'll be big, hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully.
That is it. Thanks again, Daniel.
Yeah, man. Always,
joining us.
always, man. Always a good time, man. Always a good time. I mean, terrible circumstances. We're just so a great time, great story. Like, no,
I
it's
mean,
actually
yeah.
happening. Well, you know what I mean?
It's a relevant story. It's
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
that's part of why we're here.
Part
That's
of
part of what this channel is to ask questions.
Yep. And we
'Cause
do
we
that
don't
very
have the
well.
answers.
We do that very well.
Thank you, everyone. Cheers. Thank you very much.
Later,
Daniel.
guys.
All right.
Cheers,
have a good
man.
one.
Cheers, man.
Yeah. Peace.